Hey everyone, welcome back to Never a Dull Moment. Jesse and I are doing a quick pop-up session. We are at a marriage conference this weekend. Are you shaking to the
I'm shaking it. I
to
have
the
this song.
sound of my voice?
Like it? How do you like it?
Oh, I thought he was doing that because I was being peppy.
I have that song in my head.
Anyways, so we're at a marriage conference this weekend, and it's actually been really good. It's been a great use of our time. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And I didn't make him go. That seems to be a theme this weekend. I didn't make him go. He actually planned he was the one who planned it for us. But it's been really good. Go on. I interrupted you.
No, I was just gonna say it's refreshing to see other couples, because it's just a room. It's a marriage conference, so there's nothing but couples there.
Yeah.
And to hear stories about, especially from Christian leaders who live real lives and they talk about real things. It's not it wasn't Christianese at all.
No, they're talking about
very
sex.
refreshing.
It was great.
They're talking about boobs.
They weren't talking about boobs.
They're talking about breasts.
Yes. Come on, you got to be biblical about it. Like, that wasn't the original context anyways.
Anyway.
Okay, so we have these questions, and we figured there's actually so many questions. We answered a lot of them last night at dinner, but there's a section that's called Let's Dig Deeper. Let's dig deeper. And so we're talking about this.
That's what she said.
I was waiting for it. I was like, oh gosh, here we go. But we were talking about some of these questions, and I figured they'd be great to share on the podcast because they are great conversation starters for us. We'll post the questions in the show notes. So if you want to do these questions with your spouse, I highly recommend it. They're great questions. We ask these questions in our coaching program. Like, some of them are very much the same or similar to some of the questions we asked, but just like in a little bit of a different twist. And so I think they're really great. Sometimes, like, she actually made, one of the speakers last night made the point that sometimes it's just challenging to like continue to think and ask your spouse questions. Jesse and I have been married for 17 years now, and it's just, we've asked all the questions. Sometimes you feel like I know all the things. And so I thought these were really great. So we're just going to dive into it because we said we were going to do it over breakfast. So welcome to breakfast with us. So the first question is, what do you see as the area of greatest strength in our marriage?
And what is your greatest weakness?
Okay, not or. It's our.
It's kind of two questions in one.
Yeah. So greatest strength, greatest weakness. I said one of our greatest strengths. I'm just going to be so vulnerable, so uncomfortable. I said it was our sex life.
Yeah, and we agreed. We totally agreed.
Okay,
yeah, that's one area for us that we make sure that we no pun intended, but we get it in.
Oh my gosh.
No, but we that's one area that we make sure that we stay intentional, and it's very important for any marriage to last, for you to have connection. So we really make that as like one of the top priorities in our marriage. And it doesn't happen because we set time to have sex. It happens because we are intentional with each other in every other area of our marriage.
I think that's something too that has been challenging, because sometimes it's tempting. I'm going to say this, I'm probably going to get judged by it, but sometimes it's tempting to put it in the calendar. Like, I am that person that's like, if it's not in my calendar, it doesn't happen. And like, no husband really wants to be like the calendar invite for sex. Like, this is the night.
No, but husbands want to feel used.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we're not going there.
I'm just kidding.
We're not going into that. That's not this podcast. But I think that we were talking earlier that, well, like, we're at a hotel because Jesse surprised me last night with a hotel instead of having us go back home, which was a great surprise. 2 weeks in a row? Is that was the trip?
Yeah. Last weekend was a family trip just to surprise the kids, take them to.
You're setting the bar high for yourself, bro.
Yeah, well, there's going to be a gap after this one.
Oh, okay, great. Damn it.
We're local too. It's not like we flew here, so
yeah,
we wouldn't fly back home. We, instead of driving 45 minutes home, we just drove 10 minutes to a hotel.
But it was so great, and we got a great room. It's on the top floor, as you can see.
State Capitol right there.
But I would say one of the questions last night was like, how do you create intention or something like that? And one of the things that I said was you create an environment for us to like truly connect. Like you're really, really good about that. So anyways, back to this question. So that's one of our greatest strengths is like creating intention around intimacy and sex, which are different. We'll do a podcast on that, I'm sure, at some point, because I am very passionate about that. But then what's our greatest weakness?
I think the greatest weakness is kind of falls in line with the same thing. And that's where we fail in our sex life is we fail to create intentional time. Like putting things on the calendar, like being spontaneous, kind of taking the thinking out of your life, right? Like,
wait, you want to? I'm so confused. You want to be spontaneous? We're not spontaneous.
No, to be more spontaneous, but like, I think it's like I always say, you know, kind of take your thinking away from a situation. Like I'll plan this thing so you don't have to think about it, and it just creates a level of freeness. So like you can't think of being intimate with me if you're thinking of, you know, picking up the kids or making dinner and doing laundry and cleaning the room and wiping everything down. So if you're thinking of all those things, how can I expect you to think of me and my needs if your needs aren't being met?
Yeah. Well,
that's kind of what I mean. Like, and then like this weekend,
but
like,
I feel like you're so good at that. Why is that our weakness? I don't know.
Well, because we don't do it enough. Like we've been better at it.
Yeah.
But I think like when you recognize your weakness, you have to take steps to get better at it. Like,
yeah.
We've been together for a really long time, and I have not always been good at it.
No.
But the longer we spend together, it's like, it's kind of like I'm setting the bar higher for myself, but you have a standard that is like your parallel, right? Like this is my standard. These are the things that I live and die for. I breathe for these things. And, you know, it's like when you say something, I feel like I'm a pretty good listener, and I think that helps with our intimacy. You say that you desire something or this is very important to you, and I hear those things and I try to do my best to make those things happen. Yeah. Without you having to think about it. Like,
no, you're so good at that.
Like I said, keeping the house clean or doing laundry. We still aren't very good about putting laundry away.
No, that's why we have to hire it out.
But I think those things, like those things create spontaneity, whatever that word is. Like spontaneous.
And this is a new word, spontaneity.
There you go. Something like that. But I think it creates that. It creates that freedom, right? Like to be spontaneous. If you tackle all these little things during the week, or you know, it just creates an opportunity for intimacy. And intimacy doesn't always mean, you know, sex, but it could mean
into me you see.
Okay, Chris V.
I love that quote for that. Okay, we're off topic though. What is our weakness? You're talking about our show right now. Okay, so why that's our strength though? This, I think I didn't put this together, but you tell the kids all the time, you should do the thing that you don't like to do as if you like it, so you get better at it. You say that's like a Jesse quote.
Well, that's a Mike Tyson quote. No, so I won't take credit for it, because Mike Tyson will probably find me and beat me.
Yeah, he'll punch you in the mouth.
Like, that wasn't cool, man.
I really hope Jameson pulls that one out. No, I think if you've heard it, you give recognition once, and then every other time you can claim it. No, that's a Jesse quote in our household. The kids don't know Mike Tyson necessarily, and I hope they're not listening to his podcast. He's kind of a pothead. We love you, potheads. That's not my judgment. I just don't want to.
I know. I'm like, wow. That's just
I'm sorry. That might not be
okay. Where are you going with that point?
Okay, sorry. But that's something that I would say that's not a weakness, because Jesse Hernandez has been very good about it. What is our current weakness?
Current weakness? I think it's communication.
I was going to say that. I was like, communication.
Communication is usually our downfall.
We literally had someone feed our dogs twice last week when we were out of town.
Yeah, because we both were trying to be intentional.
Oh, my hair's a mess.
So yeah, our dogs ate twice, and then they pooped all over the house when we got home at 1 a.m. last week.
Yeah. I wish it was last year.
We got home last year.
No, but that's communication. I had our daughter stay the night at the house and feed the dogs. Jesse had his mom go. She was literally sleeping while his mom was there and then woke up. She's a bear, clearly in hibernation. Woke up, refed the dogs. It was horrendous. And we have a French bulldog, so he is a little bitter if we leave. All right, next question. I would agree with communication is our weakness. I think we need to work on that. And we like help people with that.
Yeah.
And
but also like with communication, we try to implement our calendars, and it's like the adulting still doesn't make it easier because we don't do it. So if you like communication would be easier if we just did it. What? Right? Like that's what I'm just saying. That's our weakness because we don't do it. Like we're trying.
I mean, on that one, sir. You don't live by your calendar. I live by the calendar. If it's on my calendar,
are we being real right now?
We're being real. Call me out. Let's go, bro. So step up.
I still don't have the date for our son's orthodontist. But we're going to move on.
I don't have it in my calendar. He has it in his calendar.
Okay. We're going to move on.
Okay, great. You see, this is a problem. We're in the middle. My questions. Okay, I'm just kidding. Okay, what about our marriage makes you happy, sad, frustrated, excited?
Those are a lot of questions.
Those are a lot.
And as we're reading these questions, we're reading them for the first time with you. These questions right here, specifically. We saved these for breakfast, so.
Okay, so let's start with happy. What makes me happy? How you look at me after so many years. That makes me happy. I notice you looking at me and like truly enjoying like our relationship. Like I think you truly still find me beautiful. And like, I think there's still definitely love there. And I'm very grateful for that. So that's one thing that makes me happy. There's a lot. How about for you?
Happy just to see you smile.
Oh.
And then when you laugh, like you do these little goofy things and it's just like...
I'm a dork.
Yeah, just to see you smile. And I do dumb things all the time and you just giggle and it's cool to like, it feels like it's so easy to make you happy.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it was always like that. So that's good. That's actually
no, but like we were having a conversation this morning, like with other men that I talked to, they complain that they don't have intimacy in their marriages. And I always tell them it's because you don't do the simple things. Mm-hmm. Like, women want a lot of things. People want a lot of things. But like, as speaking to men, like your woman, your wife, spouse, girlfriend, whatever, they always talk about these big things. They want to go to Italy. They want to go to Florida. They want to go to the beach. They want to go to super fancy restaurants and do all these cool things. They want to have nice shoes and these things. But so I think
got my wish list.
Yeah, but I think like as men, we get too fixated on that big thing, and it seems unattainable for most people. Like, I mean, unless you have infinite dollars, you can't go to Italy, then jump to Florida, then do all these things. Or unless you have to have
and resources. Time.
Yeah,
right?
But that's what I'm saying. Time is a resource too. So
yeah, no,
but we get as men or spouses, and probably if the man is this way, the woman probably feels the same way. But it gets overwhelming because it feels unattainable. So you just do nothing. So
that's a great point.
So do something. It's like, what is the object in motion stays in motion? Yeah. So if you do something, you'll continue to do things. And it creates a snowball effect. And then before you know it, your marriage it'll be better. It'll be easier to make each other happy when it's about the little things.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You're really good about the little things. I'm not as good. But you're a pretty simple person. And I think I've gotten lazy because you're so simple. Or like I'll do something and it's not in alignment with actually what you want. So you're like simple but picky.
I don't think I'm very good at stating what I want.
You're not good at stating what you want. You're also not good at receiving.
Yeah, I don't. I do. So like last weekend, our trip was more about me surprising the family because it's really hard to surprise me. Because I noticed.
No. It is impossible. Impossible. I have tried. Your whole community has tried. Impossible.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so because it's hard for me to receive these things. It seems, my limiting belief inside of me is that why would somebody do something like that for me? Because I'm not worth it.
Oh.
So when I get to do those things for other people, it like boosts me up, like makes me feel really good. But to me, it's something so small to be able to give. It's too big to receive, but it's not very big to give.
Well, that's something that makes me sad. On to the next question. I'm like, actually, that's like one of the questions on the other side yesterday was like, what's the saddest point of your life? And that I would say is like when we went through a coaching program and we found our limiting beliefs, like our core limiting beliefs, which is a part of our process now. Hearing your limiting belief for the first time, I'm going to cry if I even think about it, because it's like, it brings me to my knees. Like, I realized that I affirmed your limiting belief for our entire marriage up to that point. And like, I work really hard trying not to do that now, because that does make me super sad. Like, I hate that I affirm that in you. And that's super hard. Like, I would say that's a huge part of like when people ask you, like, what's your biggest regret? Affirming my husband's limiting belief, but like he's not worthy of like love. I hate hearing your limiting belief. I get very sad. That's my sad point. I hate seeing you in pain, whether it's physical or emotional. Like, I hate seeing you in pain. And I haven't been good about being tender to that, like our whole relationship. So that's definitely mine.
Yeah, mine. The thing that makes me sad is when I feel like, I'm not measuring up, which is, it's kind of weird because I make myself sad, but it's kind of the same thing for you. Like, you feel like you're not measuring up to my limiting belief. You're feeding into that. Therefore, that makes you sad.
Yeah.
And for me, it's if I'm not, being a good husband or a father, or I'm checked out, or these things, it's like, I'm like a bull. I rush in to the emotion or the word, and then it's like too hard to draw back because I'm already steamed down the hill. So usually if I do something or say something, then I have to like hit the brakes, and then I see everyone's feelings hurt, and then I pull back and I get to watch the chaos that I created. Like, that makes me very sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it makes me, the next question is so the last two questions are, in a marriage, what makes you frustrated or excited? So it's happy, sad, frustrated, and excited. So the next one is frustrated. Same thing with that. It's frustrated. It makes me frustrated in the same round, because it's like, I know these things. It's like, it's hard to say, the first time you make a mistake, well, I didn't know. But to do it over and over and over, it's like, you knew.
Yeah.
It's kind of like sin. Like, you're not supposed to be doing that, but yet you keep falling back into these actions and your behaviors. And that's frustrating to me. It's because, like, I know better.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not stupid. I know, I get it. What, sometimes you say something knowing it's going to cut, yet you still say it because you know it's going to cut.
No, you say it because you know it's going to cut, right?
No.
Like, that I think is like really hard to like break that. That's something that that like animosity, that retaliation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like the worst at that. I don't know if that's a challenger thing or what, but holy smokes. Like, if you hurt me, I'm like, I tell the kids that I'll cut you.
Yeah. So if you don't know what she's talking about, challenger thing, she's a challenger on the Enneagram test. She's a challenger. And if you know someone who's a challenger, you're always going to hear it's because I'm a challenger.
Ever. I'm not so much better, sir. That's so rude.
I hear that like once a week, once a day.
I do not do that anymore.
Every day that ends with Y.
No, that is not true. I'm so much better. Tell me I'm not better.
You're okay. I think you're better because I tell you, like, hey, like, don't identify with that because you're a challenger. Great, but like, pull the strengths out of that, not the weaknesses.
Okay, but no, I do both. I do both for sure. But before I knew I was a challenger, I just thought I was a bitch. Like, I literally did. I literally did. Like, that is like a very core thing. And like, I just thought I was a bitch. I literally, and so when I realized that that was a personality type and I could see the good in myself, that was something that like really changed me. It was like, it was very freeing to be like, oh, I'm not just like a broken demon bitch.
I know, but I'm a 6. I'm a loyalist, and loyalists don't like to brag that they're loyalists. So
I don't know why. Like, what better trait is there than being loyal? Like, I literally need that the most. Anyways, back to frustration. Okay, so frustration. What frustrates me? Like, freaking everything.
No, when the house is dirty, that frustrates you.
I can't. Or when I have to ask, no, you know what? That's not in our marriage. We won't go there. I was gonna say calling the boys downstairs.
Yeah, but that's in you and your motherhood.
Okay. You're right. That's motherhood. You making fun of my feet.
Well, when you have a foot like an orangutan,
That wasn't an.
like her toes are like that long.
No, they're not. Don't say that.
Like her big toes is as big as my pinky finger.
That is the meanest thing. You're so mean to me. See?
And I'm 5'8", and I don't have tiny hands.
It frustrates me. You're not supposed to do it.
I'm sorry.
No, the house being dirty, I think, is for sure that. Also, you know what is something that frustrates me is scarcity. Oh, no, I know the ultimate
In our
one.
marriage?
In our marriage, you know what frustrates me? When you point out only the problem. And I know that's your gift. It's like a double-edged sword. Like, I'm like, Cliff, let's go. I want to jump.
My name's not Cliff.
All right, dad jokes. But I'm always like,
who's Cliff?
I'm like, ooh, Cliff, let's jump. And you're like, wait, this is all the problems. And I'm like about to jump. And you're like, there's a lot of problems there. You should probably. And I'm like, okay, what? And you're like, you need a parachute. You need something to catch you. Also, when you get down, you're going to have to climb back up. So probably you need some water. Because the problem is, but you don't do it necessarily in that way. You're like, you can't do that. And I'm like, ugh, like I turn into a bull. Like, I'm like, quit telling me I can't do it. You say I can't do it. I do it more. Like,
that's frustrating.
Yes, I hate that. Like, just give me what I need, not just the problem. Like, anytime we do anything, you have like a checklist of all of the problems that could in a
and that changed once we started having children. Because before then, I was
no, you always did that.
No, not as much.
You always did that.
Nah.
Oh, really?
This is frustrating.
Hold on. You remember? I'll make it worth your while.
Yeah, but I wasn't about to, I wasn't about that hoochie life.
You're so rude. What we're talking about.
Yeah, day one, she was going to make it worth my while. Like,
we were drinking.
It was day one.
I know. It's not a pretty Christian story. I'm sorry to break it to everyone. But your girl was wild.
Day one.
No, but
come to Grand Junction with me. I will make it worth your while. And I was skrrr. Hit the brakes.
You're a better man than I was. A little bit better, for sure. I was Jezebel back then. I had the Jezebel spirit on me, and I was like,
I wrote the sign of the cross on your forehead. We exercised you that night.
Yeah. No, I was a hot mess express.
No. Okay.
Our story is cute, but you were still like that. That's my point. You were like, nope, I don't know. We'll see. I was
nope, I don't want herp AIDS. I'm not doing that. Nope.
So rude.
Well, I didn't know you. Like, I wasn't that type of guy to just jump, and do those things. So
I know.
I was, and I didn't really like women who were pushy.
Oh,
like,
how the hell did you end up with me?
I don't know. Like, I thought you were really pretty. Like, you were pushy, but yet you gave space for me to like lean in.
Oh, okay. I'd be like, push, and
then yeah. And the first night we met, and that'll be for another podcast. But the first night we met, I was there to meet somebody else.
Oh yeah.
And so when I saw you, the intention wasn't to ever even talk to you. So when we got introduced, at Christina's house to go to have game night, it shocked me, So
yeah.
So yeah, but you being kind of pushy that night, I was like, well, I mean, she's hot, but she's pushy, and I don't like to be pushed. I like to be pulled.
Man, you got roped in. I push you everywhere. I'm like, ooh, look, Cliff, you go first.
No, I'm like, Cliff, come here. Cliff is my stunt double.
Oh.
Cliff, in here. Go jump with her.
Oh my gosh. Okay, last piece. Excited.
Excited. I get excited with any opportunity that we get to spend time together.
Same.
Like you were saying earlier that, we're talking about questions. So we always I have this probably 100, 200 questions in my phone on one of my notes pages that's full of questions. If I hear something that's like, hey, that would be a great question, for a date night or something. So what we did to be even above and beyond that, we found this little deck of cards that has it's 100 conversation starters, and we started using that.
They're good questions. So
I get excited with that, especially because you go to dinner anywhere now and you see families sitting around a table and everyone has their phone. And we're a family that one of our standards that we set for our family is we eat dinner at the table. We never eat at the couch. We don't watch TV. No shame to anybody who does that, but for us, that's one of our times when we all get to come together. And I look forward to that because we get to ask the kids every night, how was your day? What's your highlight of the day? We don't really talk about low lights. We don't really want to focus on the bad.
Sometimes we ask.
Sometimes.
Bubble up, bubble down.
Yeah, sometimes. But for the most part, we focus really hard on the good. What's your what is the word? I just lost the word.
Highlight.
What is your highlight of your
up.
day?
Yeah.
Bubble up, bubble up, bubble up, bubble up. Anyway. Screw. So yeah, those are the things that make me excited. It's just conversation starters, what to relearn you. And every year for our anniversary, we didn't do it this year. We did not do it this year. Our anniversary was last week. We didn't do it this year. It was just a couple of days ago. Anyway, we typically ask each other what's your favorite color? Birthday, a rebirth of our marriage every year. That's kind of the way we treat our.
We didn't do it.
We didn't, but we usually ask what's your favorite food right now? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite flowers? Just to kind of recreate inspiration for the next year to come.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that makes me excited is to constantly be working on your marriage makes me excited.
Yeah, same. I think engaged and just spending time together. I love travel. So I love to travel with you. That's probably one of my favorite things.
Yeah, well, I've been more traveling with you lately. Just been tagging along. You say, I'm going somewhere and I'm like, here I am. Take me. But I mean, before, as you know, I had never traveled as a kid. So getting on the plane was very scary to me. And lately, the last couple of times we've flown, it's kind of been peaceful. It's finally just get to sit down, watch a movie. We don't watch hardly any TV. So that's our time. That's my time. I get to watch a movie.
Like Gestapo on TV.
Yeah, you're like 9. You're like Hitler on TV.
Okay.
9.
All right, Hernandez. Yeah, no, I just spend time, do something fun. Literally, it could be a walk or it could be Hawaii. I like both. Those are very big difference, but just time with you. So we will post the rest of the questions. We gotta go. But we'll post the rest of the questions in the show notes. Find a time, go for a walk, take some time to carve out to just ask good questions. I always say the power of the question is the power of the answer. And if we ask good questions, we're going to get great answers, and great answers lead to connection. So if you have any questions or
if you want more questions too, you can try to reach out to us and we'll be happy to share, some of the stuff that we have and, deep questions that we ask each other to help grow in our marriage.
Yeah. You got to do the close. Jesse's been doing the close.
I've just been playing around with the close, but so if you like this content and it's it's something that you like to hear, you want to follow us. I don't know the lingo or how to do this yet, but
don't start.
No, but we're not on YouTube. Remember, they're listening.
No, go ahead.
If you like what you hear, feel free to smash that like button, subscribe. Don't call me.
Don't call me.
I'm just kidding. Don't call me. Don't text me. But do like and subscribe.
And tune in next Tuesday for our next episode.
Yeah, Tuesday, every Tuesday, always on Tuesday.
Just because it's Tuesday.
Just because it's Tuesday.